welcome back to my creative space. This is Emma here in Cumbria on a very beautiful summer's day. It's really glorious out there. I've actually got my cardigan on in here though because it is cool in here, which is lovely. It's very comfortable to be in here when it's hot outside. I've got my sun lounger out ready for a bit of a sit out later on. It's everything you could desire in a summer's day. It's beautiful. All the flowers are out in the garden and everywhere's looking lush and crazy. Crazy is the best word because everything's just gone shot up like this. It's wonderful. When I go for my daily walk down the lane, there's a pond at the bottom of the lane and there's some geese on it and they've all had goslings. So we've got some, I think they're grey lag geese with sort of orange beaks, if anybody knows their geese. And they've had 5 goslings, and there's some Canada geese and they've had 3 goslings, and there's some swans down there and some coots and some ducks, and it's just lovely. It's just this kind of casual pond at the side of the road on a farmer's field, and it's just absolutely lovely to go down and see how everybody's doing. I just love the way they swim on the water. They just kind of glide out of the reeds and that you can't see their feet paddling like crazy underneath, but they just sort of seem to be gliding on the surface. So I think that's probably true of a lot of us, aren't we? We're kind of gliding on the surface. Underneath we're kind of, you know, rowing that boat, paddling that canoe for all that we're worth. So this is a place for chilling. If it's your first time here, especially a warm welcome to you. I like to play with fabric, I like to play with stitch, and nothing really matters down here. No outcome is necessary. It's all about the process of playing and seeing what happens. More and more I'm learning to work with my intuition, but I still put me in what I'm making, because if you don't put you into what you're doing, there's no point in being here, because we're meant to be who we are. So I'm being who I am down here, and I'm relishing how things are changing up for me all the time. It'll be the same for you, I'm sure, and I'm just relishing all the changes that are happening and all the different things that I'm making. We've just finished our exhibition with my group Fabricate, and we're just planning something else. We've got a little one in the summertime in about a month's time, so it's really lovely because I've got that to look forward to, and I'm just, you know, putting a few things together and seeing what comes for that as well. So today we're continuing with those blue scraps that I started last week, the little mini works of art, if you like. I got really excited by doing them. It's just really funny working on such a tiny scale, using up little bits of this and little bits of that. So today we're going to carry on with that and hopefully get them finished so I can sort out my linen cupboard, get everything back in their bags, get everything labelled and be organised, you know. I use that term loosely because meanwhile don't you find you get one area of your house kind of really kind of lovely and organised and everything's just where you want it, and then meanwhile over here in the Rubik's Cube of life everything else is moving around one and everything's piling up. So it is what it is. I just do what's in front of me, enjoy what's going on, and if there's stuff happening that's not very comfortable, well, that's how it is, isn't it? So this is what being down here is about. This is my kind of place to come and just be, and I'm sure you have the same in your house, a little corner or a room where you can go and be creative, because I think creativity is just the bee's knees. So let's get on with these little mini works of art and see where they're going to take us today. Let's just see what we're going to do here. Just need to pull that out of the way and snip it off. There we go. And so I've done a really fairly terrible little bit of stitching here, and it almost but doesn't quite work on this as a single layer. It's a little bit pulling, which is why if you're new to free machine embroidery, it's why you would use a piece of this stabilizer stuff, because it would stop it pulling like that. It would keep it nice and flat. But I just wanted a quick play to see whether I would have a little daisy. Perhaps you could have a little daisy, and then you could have the word summer somehow up here. Oh, it's so fun. I am just having so much fun. So your little daisy could go that way, and your little summer could go that way. you know, or your little summer could go that way. This is all about, this is where sort of design, I suppose design would come in. You would be drawing this out, you could be planning it out on a computer or something clever like that. But I just like messing about, and I like to feel it. I like to go, oh yes, that's making me feel good. So you could be doing something extremely simple and have summer on one side, and then you just put your little daisy on the other side. So that would be extremely simple, but I think I actually want things to be on the same side. So, oh yes, you see, you could have your daisy down that end. This summer word is a little bit big, I think, in terms of scale to go with that. I don't know, it's just, you know, horses for courses, playing about, seeing what comes, seeing what you enjoy, seeing what makes sense. You know, it's using your words, using your designs in different ways. You know, your words could be going up like that. If they were printed words, that could be nice as well. And a smaller version of that could just be a little version that just says summer there, down there. And you could just have 3 elements. And I have to bear in mind, as I say, that I'm going to make a little hole there, possibly. Or maybe I'll just attach the cord to it. I don't know. Okay, so this is one of those rare occasions where you see Emma hand stitching something. I've got this very old bobbin of thread here that's been lurking around for many years, and I'm just going to simply hand stitch this on. I just felt if I stitched everything with the blue, it's quite dominant, this blue, and I just thought if I stitch everything with that, that's going to be a bit sort of dominant somehow, and it's going to detract from these pretty little bits of fabric, these fabric scraps that I've got. So I thought, well, I'm just going to stitch these on by hand. Revolution! What a revolution in the house. I mean, you could do it with some nice fun stitches. You could do some, I don't know, blanket stitch around the edges or something fun, but I thought, well, actually I'm just going to simply do a bit of running stitch. In fact, I think that's not quite in the right place. So I'm not going to worry about anything. These are something not to worry about. But aren't they cute? I think these could be just lovely little things you could just make to hang up around your house. In fact, you know, you can make a little seasonal thing and you just hang it up just for the beauty of it. This is what I love, when things evolve. This is an idea that I had that was just going to be very practical, a little label, and now I'm thinking, well, it could be something really decorative. And you could be doing patches like this to go on your clothes, you know, even if your clothes don't need them. Why not make a little patch like this and just put it on your clothes? Jazz them up. So I am really not a hand stitcher. I would be the first person to say hand stitching is not my vibe, but I do love hand stitching. I think it's the most lovely thing to do. I appreciate when anybody does hand stitching on anything, so you're getting this lovely line, and it's this idea that it's been made by a person. You know, this is somebody's hand has stitched this together, like my clothes that my mum made when I was young. You know, they were stitched by my mum, and she sewed buttons on, and she's, you know, she would hand stitch zips in, I think, because I don't know that zipper foots were even a thing then. I don't know. But something like that, I just think it's lovely. And in fact, hand stitching, really quilted things was where I started. My textile adventure started with looking at quilts, really, and just loving the effect that you get when somebody quilts something. See, this is a complete voyage of discovery. This was not meant to happen. This is not what I thought was going to happen. This has not been pre-planned. This is just evolved because I started to play with the fabrics, and I just love that. What a soothing thing to do. And I don't care if they're wonky. You know, at school, I don't know if anybody remembers school needlework lessons. If things were not done neatly, my dears, it had to be unpicked. And I'm sure that will resonate with a lot of you who had to do these things at school. If it wasn't neat, it got unpicked. And I think how depressing for the child. You know, it's spent ages trying to put this needle through this fabric, and it's being told that it's wrong. Whereas actually it's not, it's beautiful, it's made a stitch and it's holding the cloth together and it's doing its job. And yes, I admire beautiful, you know, even quilt stitches and all the rest of that. But really, to me, a stitch is a stitch, and it's beautiful because it's made by a person. So do leave me a comment below if you if you had needlework lessons like I had at school. They were really somewhat depressing, really, because they weren't about creativity at all. They were about doing things right. And I think this is why I really kind of rebel against all these things now. A stage in my life where I just don't give a hoot and I will do it my way. And nobody else needs to stick their oar in. I'm open to comments, obviously, because I love having your comments. That's a different thing altogether, because I think we're sharing something here. But being told that it's wrong at a tender age, it's enough to put you off creating and stitch work and needlework for life, isn't it? Okay, so this one is finished. I put the second side onto the back and just stitched around with a bit of cream coloured thread. I've made myself a little, you can see that actually has got a hole in it, a little sort of eyelet thing where I just stitch around in a circle and then I cut it out a bit. It's a bit tricky and you have to just kind of, you know, poke a bit, and then I just did a little bit of zigzag going all the way around. A little bit fiddly, a little bit wonky, but it does the job. It's got a nice look to it. And then what I've got here is I've got various really nice kind of yarny things, stringy things. Oh, look at this. I think this is paper. This is a lovely papery yarn, I would say paper yarn, paper string. I've got this lovely jute string, and I've also got some berry, and I've also got this, which is really lovely. This is a linen thread, which again, I could have used that for hand stitching. I could have hand stitched the whole thing together, but I decided I wanted this hand stitching to stand out. So I think that's not the one to use. I think this one might be the one to use because it's quite thin and flexible. I think this one's a little bit, it's lovely, but it's a little bit stiff. So I think we're just going to use this one, make a little there we go, a cute little thing. You could hang it on your wall. It's almost a shame now, really, I think, to put it in a cupboard to to label things. I think it's really rather nice. As I say, just as a thing, a seasonal thing to hang on your wall. Why not? So I've got some more to make and I'll show you them when they're done. Okay, so this is my next little creation. It says king size summer. It's for our, it's actually a duvet we had last year, and now we've gone up to a bigger size duvet. It's really a spare one. But so what I want to do, what I'm thinking of doing, is stitching with a thick thread across the top of these colours. I'm loving this turquoise. I think I'm really getting into my summer vibe here. I love the seaside themes in the summer. I don't know why. I love the colours. There's just something about it. So I'm going to put this in my bobbin, my bobbin case here. Now what I have is I keep 2 bobbin cases. So when I want to stitch using a thick thread in the bottom, this is my normal one. I keep that at the same tension all the time. but I have a spare one which is at a slacker tension so that the thick thread can run through easily. So I'm going to put that in the bottom of my machine. I'm going to stitch this from the wrong side. I'm going to stitch it from this side and we'll see what's going to happen. Exciting, eh? So there we go. I think that's quite successful. I just wanted this feeling of a sort of a seed heady, organic thing. And I think that's done that quite nicely. As I say, I stitched it from the back so that the bottom bobbin has just given me this lovely thick thread. It's not the greatest stitching, but it doesn't matter. It sort of holds it down in place, and that's all I want. And I'm also thinking, well, you know, this little label, I'm thinking, well, what would I like to do else? Would I like to do? And I'm thinking, well, it would actually be quite nice if you put a couple of little buttons on it. I think that could work quite nicely. And it's starting to become, I mean, if you take off the fact that it's got king size on it, because this is my luggage label, as it were, for my duvets, if you take that away, it's the most pretty little thing, isn't it? I just think this is a really cool idea, and you could be doing this at home. Get some bits of calico out and just play around, see what happens. So, my goodness, look at these little beauties. I am so excited to show you them. I haven't done anything like this for ages. I haven't done anything that's just been completely free with no outcome at all required. You know, these are not for anything. These are going in a cupboard, okay? So nobody's going to see them but me. I know they're going to be in there, and so nothing's mattered. You know, the perfection police have absolutely not been there telling me that my stitching was wrong. They're wonky. Their edges are all over the place. They're rough, but I absolutely love them, and I'm thrilled with the journey that they've taken me on. So I have created 5 little labels. This is one for my summer duvet. This is one for my big old winter duvet, so slightly darker colours. And look, my little summer one here. I haven't put the buttons on. I decided I didn't want to hide those buttons away, but it's very tempting to put some buttons on, I have to say. And then look, what you're going to see now is some colour. So I have got 2 guest duvets, okay, and I've got a single one and a double one. And I just chose these colours. I know that these are in a different coloured bag. My main duvets are in a white bag. These are in a colourful bag, and I thought, well, I'm going to do some colour. Roughly, it's not quite the same colour, but it's the vibe of it. Look at that. Look at what I've created from nothing, with little scraps of fabric, a simple little shape that came to me because I looked at this and I thought, well, this has got a leaf on it, and it's got the word guest. And I swapped, oh, look at this, I was so reckless, I swapped over the threads because I happened to have the pink in, so I did pink, you know, I just played around, and I'm absolutely thrilled with these. So, you know, you could take this as an idea. You could be making little decorations for your home. You could make a little present for somebody. You could put the word love on it. You could, you know, just play around. And they're tiny, so they're finishable. You don't even have to do machine embroidery. You could just do it all by hand. A bit of calico, a bit of stiffener, whatever you've got in, and using up your scraps. So I think this has all been, to me, this has all been about celebrating your little scraps, celebrating, repairing, making new out of old. I don't know, stitch it, don't ditch it. Absolutely, stitch it, don't ditch it. These are little scraps, and I've stitched them and I've turned them into something else. So take from this what you will. Go away and enjoy having a play with this if you'd like to. I'd love to know what you get up to. So just, you know, leave me a comment down below in next week's video or something, or this week's video, whenever. Let me know if you have a go at this. I'd love to know what you do. And thank you again for being here. Get out there, stitch it, don't ditch it, repair your clothes, make something new from something old, and don't throw away your scraps, because you know what, they're just lovely, aren't they? And I'm sure most of you, I don't need to tell that to, because I'm sure most of you are like me. So I'll see you again next week for some more creative fun, and I just wish you a very peaceful week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.